might see him trying to go do a lane swap because I believe that's where he's actually stronger, just with his passive CC. Yeah, and
450
for
to stun, it's really hard to lane against that if you're solo, that is.
yeah, exactly. And we still see AHQ Esports seemingly really happy. They've
Yes.
got a lot of strong meta picks, and Westdoor has taken Fizz. They've tried
And
to ban Westdoor out a little bit with Zed down,
but that's not even his character, character champion right now. Ever actually, Westor Fizz is now known worldwide as one of his very best champions, with only Zed as a real contender at this point. But AHQ is pretty much playing exactly what they want to play. The Corki Thresh lane especially is extremely impacting right now. All you need is one death sentence, and the Corki burst is enough to usually win out the fight, at least on the early 2v2 fight.
yeah, and we're seeing Machiku here going for the Ezreal. They know they probably can't win such a strong lane, so they're going for an AD carry that can hang back and probably just shoot mystic shots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hang back safely, farm up. Probably a blue S to actually a blue S to me would be a mistake at this point because they don't have all that much damage between the three first picks right now.
That's a good point.
Braum and Ez, however, does seem like a bit of a mismatch, I believe, because Ez's scaling isn't all that impacting. He is also a Sheen-based AD carry where he needs to weave his auto attacks with spells. His scaling into late game therefore isn't all that much better than Corki's.
Yeah, and we see AHQ Esports responding to a possible Pocomp here with the last two picks.
Oh yeah. The Jarvan and Rumble combination is very powerful right now. Cataclysm with an Equalizer is bound to win a fight.
Yeah, Machi Crew, their last pick for top lane, it could be possibly mid lane as well. We'll bring over the Gnar pick for Hanshao here.
Yeah, it looks like going to be a Gnar top lane again. Jace against Fizz, though. A relatively long cooldown poke against the infamous Playful Trickster Troll poke. Seems like a slight mismatch, actually, at least in my eyes.
Yeah. Do you want to give us a rundown of the two compositions we have right here?
Certainly.
Okay.
We have... Oh, wow, that seems to be a cannon pick with only 9 seconds left on timer. Is it going to be a cannon pick?
It does seem so. 4, 3.
It was banned against Machi earlier, so clearly something's up. Yes, it is. Holy. Okay, so that is a cannon pick along with a Jason Ezreal, making this effectively a siege comp. What they want to do is just, with cannon with no resources, same with, Yordles, top lane Yordles with no resources, a bit of a pain to play against. But anyhow, we haven't seen cannon for a while, and the last time we saw him in top lane, it was as an AD cannon using like a Doran's Blade start to take advantage of his auto attack passives and the stun that comes off of it. And also, he just has great range. At least he did before the range nerfs. But cannon top is something we haven't seen in more than a year, I believe. I don't recall any cannon games since about season 3.
Yeah, back then when he had that, when the Doran Blade was significantly stronger than it is now, he was just a lane bully with his range.
Oh yeah. Whereas AHQ is playing basically their favorites, honestly. It's a hard engage comp with a strong pick potential, especially with Western and Fizz. So if they catch anybody in the jungle especially, somebody's going to die. What they want to do then is rotate any of the advantages off of it into a asymmetrical turret siege where Bachi crew basically has to back off or risk getting engaged on by any of the champions. Any of HQ's champions on hand. It's a classic for HQ. It's honestly exactly what they've been playing for the last 2 years now.
Yeah, that's a great point you bring up. There's just so much initiation on that AHQ team. They have the Fish, they have Green Tea's famous hooks, they have Jarvan, and they also have the Rumble Ultimate Equalizer coming down on them.
Yep. What Machi wants to do is take their long range pokes and whittle AHQ's comp down to the point where even they can't engage safely, but that's honestly very, very hard. Especially with Westdoor basically being... Westdoor knows how to dodge any of these skill shots that's going to be coming his way. It's going to be really hard to pin it down. And if you can't take down Westdoor, you're going to get engaged upon.
Yeah, exactly. And we're seeing the game start here in Summoner Rift. Uh, Machi Crew here is actually going for an interesting level 1. 5 people down on the Tribe Rush. Oh, but it's spotted by Anne. And Corky backs off. No harm done. We see Jarvan going into the red topside jungle. Probably going to place a ward down there.
We also have a 91 to 9% confidence rating in AHQ's favor. Holy! Wow, I'm actually surprised that it's a little higher. Is this AHQ we're talking about?
Exactly, man. Well, to be fair, like, Machi is a good brand in Taiwan as well. Like, when I grew up here, we'd all listen to Machi music.
Yes, their founder is in fact one of the premier hip hop artists on the island. He actually played in the GPL last year when they had some roster troubles.
Did he play Gangplank? His famous Silver 2 Gangplank?
It was either Mundo or a support, but it wasn't really good.
Okay. Well, that's to be expected. These pro players, most of them could probably beat me with their like left hands on the keyboard.
Yeah. As a gold player, I definitely don't want to tussle with any of the LMS players myself.
Yeah, of course. And we're seeing fairly passive starts here. Lee Sin's probably going to do the Krugs top lane with Kennen. And this is interesting. Green Tea is coming in trying to put a little bit of harass, trying to deny Ezreal and Braum to do the Gromp. And Jarvan's actually going to start his red alone.
Oh, that's going to take... With the new jungle, going red alone means taking a lot of damage. The new jungle is much more like Season 2, where everybody's... all the minions are tankier and they deal a lot more damage, so you usually have to back within like 2 or 3 camps.
Yeah, it does look like Jarvan's probably chancing for a gank bot lane, an early level 2 here. He's going through the river. Is he going to do it? Nope.
He backs off.
Yep, just backs off immediately. And Lee Sin now is just doing his own red buff. We see Lee mid getting a slight level lead here early, but nothing much to worry for Westor.
Yeah, he does take some poke, but it's Fizz, and he has the Crystalline Flask for sustain, so it's not as if anything's going to be happening. Mr. Albus, the jungler, is really low right now.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about what that might mean if he wants to keep on trying to go for a gank.
I'm not even sure he can hit level 3.
Yeah, it's risky. This new jungle's really hard on junglers right now. I kind of feel that it's been a lot riskier than it has been for the last 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Albus is going to start his blue anyway, but Hanji is coming in from the river. Is there going to be a possible steal here?
Well,
doesn't look like it.
Westor and Lee Mid are trading off though, so yeah, Westor is keeping even despite the damage he's taking.
Yeah, again, Machi Crew putting a lot of emphasis on this top lane. And we see Albus backing. He goes for the Stalker Braid. Definitely the most popular upgrade right now for the junglers.
Yep. Whereas Hanji still hasn't gone back. Hanji does, however, want to try to get an early advantage because both Lee Sin and Jarvan do have strong early ganks, but they also both Lee Sin in particular tends to fall off. He's going to be a little less tanky than Jarvan is, and the initiation is a little less reliable than a good Cataclysm.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Lee Sin pick just for like the disengage for pro comps, and I think that's probably one of the reasons we see the Lee Sin here in this composition as well.
Yeah, the Dragon's Rage makes a lot of sense with the Pokemon. What they really want to do is try to keep Westor and Albus off of Honey Rain and Lee Mid, or else it's just a really bad day for them if their carries get blown up.
Yeah, this is really interesting. We see Albus actually taking away counter jungling Lee Sin and taking away the wolves. I believe that Hanji was probably spotted somewhere on the top lane, or Jarvan usually is not ballsy enough to do something like that.
Yeah, Jarvan doesn't actually have that great a trade compared to Lee Sin early on, but it is useful for him to take the wolves though because it gives vision of Hanji's movements early.
And we see it coming into play right here. Hanji was just spotted by the wolf spirit.
They know he's coming, which means that he's wasting time wandering around the river. So that was actually a really nice pickup by AHQ, just tactically. It doesn't necessarily mean much in terms of combat stats, but being able to make sure that Lee Sin doesn't have an opening is a big deal.
Yeah, and Westor just seeing that trade go down, he immediately goes up to Lee mid and chunks him. It seemed like the least in position. He's just playing much more ballsy.
Yeah.
And we see a trade here, Ziv going on Han Xiao. Han Xiao manages to get the stun on of Ziv, and Ziv is unable to use his overheating auto attacks there.
Yep. It is a little hard to pin down Cannon, especially once he gets his rush.
Yeah, we see Hadji coming in for a possible gank here, and Albus is heading top lane as well.
Yep, both junglers are hitting top. It means, hopefully it means that we'll get first blood soon.
Han Xiao hits 6, immediately pop his flash and ultimate. Hadji comes in, what the hell is that Ziv ultimate? That equalizer was not on point, and the flash probably wasn't necessary at that point either.
Yeah, he wasn't going to live. That was a really bad equalizer. I'm hoping he just accidentally smartcast and took his finger off the keys too soon. Because
exactly. That's one of the reasons I'm never going to play Rumble because I'm a purely smartcast player. But that was a huge lead for Machi Crew there in the top lane.
Indeed. First blood onto the cannon. And cannon tends to do a lot of damage later on, especially if he's planning to build Zonus Hourglass. Because
we see Green Team getting a hook in there and flaying Thrushmelon back. Thrushmelon down to half health, but it seems like they're just going to disengage. A favorable trade for AHQ nonetheless.
Yeah. We actually see the, what's it called? The mask.
Haunting Guys.
Haunting Guys, right. Yeah. We see the early penetration item onto Han Xiao. Haunting Guys does give not only health and some AP, but also the magic penetration to make his spells a little more impacting.
Yeah. Do you know anything about Kennen builds nowadays?
I don't think there is such thing as a regular Kennen build nowadays. But if I were to guess, he's going to try to be building Andrew's Torment and Zonia's Hourglass as basically to to strip away the takiness from AHQ and to deter them from going all in on crew. He'll basically be acting as a counter disc.
Wow! Here flays Honey Rain back. The exhaust goes down to Corky, but it's not enough to save Honey Rain from getting killed by Anne.
Yeah, Honey Rain was actually standing right on top of the Valkyrie bird damage from AN, formerly known as OQ.
Yeah.
And it acts a little like a weaker equalizer in that it's still burning damage. You really don't want to be actually standing on top of it when trying to get away.
Honey Rain also didn't use his flash in that engage. It's kind of interesting.
No, the flash is still up.
Yeah, Honey Rain might have been able to escape that.
Oh yeah. He should have been able to get away from that.
Yeah, and now we're seeing a small lead here for AHQ. And Westor going in for a little trade on Lee mid, but Hanji is right behind him, so Westor just troll pulls away, backs off. AHQ with a 300 gold lead early on.
Yep, which isn't all that much right now, especially with no dragon down. But it does suggest that Westor in particular, you saw him dodge the accelerated shock blast, which means that the damage he put on Lee mid is effectively unpunished.
Yeah, exactly. And we're seeing Albus and Hanji meeting each other in the jungle here. Hanji actually, interesting enough, going for the early crab kill.
Yep. I'm guessing he wants to keep Albus from roaming top lane too often. It does mean that Han Xiao is able to scale up a little better, a little safer.
Yeah, we've seen in the previous game as well, like Machi Crew really likes to put a lot of emphasis on this Han Xiao lane.
Yeah,
and the spike goes down to Hanji.
Whoops.
Okay. So I guess the crab actually does pay off. They get the vision and they make the play there. Yep. And this is Green Tea coming in from the river. Does Lee Mid sense this? He's gonna flash, hook, the hook, but goes in with the flay, box down. Lee Mid's still alive, still pretty healthy. He still has 50% health, but his flash is burned in that trade. So overall, a flash trade for a flash trade, I'd say a little bit in favor of AHQ actually.
Well, Westor does still have lane presence, whereas Lee Mid is forced to back off entirely, so it's definitely to their advantage. They are handing off the blue to him. We saw earlier that he was basically out of mana that almost that entire fight, so that's definitely a good necessary pickup for him.
Yeah, Albus just coming down the river for another gank, but he's spotted by a ward, so Honey Rain perfectly prepared for that and manages to just E away safely.
And
Crushmelon trying to clear the bush of any wards, and he's not going to find any, but